Islamophobia has got to be one of the greatest scams ever perpetrated on the Canadian people. Imagine a rash of Christian or Jewish Canadians moving to one of the 56 Muslim majority countries by the millions, getting there, and then all of a sudden lecturing them on how crappy their country is, waving Canada's flag in a Muslim majority street and chanting about intifada in our lifetime, violent revolution, burning that country's flag, spitting on that country's police officers, threatening citizens, covering your face. By God, can you even imagine? That could never happen in a million years. Would a group of Canadians be allowed to do that? But 2 million Muslims can invade Canada, show up on our streets every single day, waving foreign flags, chanting the most heinous anti-Western crap we've ever got. And as a Canadian, if you point that out and say, this is fucking insanity, why are we allowing this? These people clearly hate the West. They hate our country. Why the hell are we inviting people into our country that hate us? You are branded an Islamophobe. It's an absolute joke, and it makes no sense. First of all, Islam is not a race of people. It is a religion, and we are criticizing a set of ideas. These liberals' brain is so thick, they can't figure it out. What we are criticizing is a society that in all 56 Muslim majority countries, they treat women like cattle. Women are not allowed to leave the house without written permission. These are the most anti-Semitic countries in the world. The statistics are overwhelming. You want to see the rise in anti-Semitism in Canada? It's due to allowing so many Muslims, so many terrorist sympathizers into our country. If you want to be gay or trans, to the LGBTQ lobby in Canada that claims to stand with your oppressed brothers and sisters, go move to one of the 56 Muslim majority countries and tell me exactly how you're treated. You will not survive a week there waving your trans flag. Their culture is not accepting of the LGBTQ community. And free speech, the pillar of Western civilization that is incredibly sadly being torn apart here in Canada, piece by piece, first by Justin Trudeau, now by Mark Carney, wanting to have the ability to cut off your internet access and throw Canadians in jail for life, potentially, for memes. The biggest assault on free speech we've ever seen in this country. These Muslim majority countries, if you blaspheme against Allah, if you speak negatively about who they believe is God, and that's the reason Islam is so scary. It's the only religion that says, I am the final word of God. There is nothing else to be said. This is totalitarianism. This is the final word of God, your final instructions. It's just a statistical fact to state that since 9/11, there have been 65,000 terror attacks pulled off by Muslims around the world. That's not Islamophobic to state, you fucking clowns. You compare that to Christians or Jews, there is no comparison. There are so many more Muslim extremists than other religions produce. And if you point that out in Canada, you get branded an Islamophobe. It's a total clown show, a total sleight of hand by the Liberal Party of Canada that wants to sell us out at every turn possible. It's exactly what they're doing, to allow 2 million Muslims into this country and then give them all citizenship, and they're going to vote. They vote for them overwhelmingly. They vote for them 90% of the time. It's such a sleight of hand because what it also does is it ensures liberal majorities. The liberal immigration policies are not popular whatsoever among Native Canadians, not popular whatsoever. But of course, among immigrants, it's wildly popular. So when you bring 8 million immigrants into the country in an incredibly short period of time, that is changing how the vote is going to work. That's going to allow a doom cycle of just continuing to allow more and more people in, until Canada is completely unrecognizable from what it once is. It's already transformed so extremely. It's unbelievable. These hate mobs on our streets every day. The amount of laws being enacted to shut patriotic Canadians up who criticize the immigration system. But just imagine for 1 second that the shoe was on the other foot and there were Canadians arriving in Middle Eastern countries and chanting about how the evil Muslim countries, we needed violent revolution against the evil Muslim countries. Those protests would not last 5 minutes. Yet in Canada, they've received police escorts. These people arrive in our country, they immediately start complaining about how terrible we are, then get the fuck out of here. If you don't like Canada, if you don't like the Western world, move. Get the fuck out. We don't want you here. Well, if all you're going to do is bitch about how shitty a society this is. And same with you liberals who are constantly complaining about how evil capitalism and how evil the West is, despite the fact it has produced the most wealth in world history. If you hate it so much, get the fuck out. Don't destroy it for us that love the West, love the values, love freedom of speech, love freedom of religion. Update for you liberals, these are not Muslim values. If you go to one of these 56 Muslim majority countries that you've been waving the flags of absolutely having no idea what you're doing for the past 2.5 years, these are not Western values. Try to go have your pride parade in a Middle Eastern country. Try as a woman to go live there like you do in the West. There is not a shot in hell. You are going to either wind up in jail or a hell of a lot worse. And I think a lot of these liberals are just so ahistoric. They have no idea what they're talking about. I think one of the best ways to envision it is to say, imagine the shoe were on the other foot. It would never in a million years be allowed to go. Yet in Canada, somehow these woke ideologues have tricked the Canadian population into thinking, hey, inviting millions of people who hate our country in may not be a great idea long term to brand them as Islamophobes. It's crazy, it's crass, it makes no sense when you think about it. This is a set of ideas that we know what the results are. We know what the world looks like in those 56 Muslim majority countries. That's exactly what we don't want Canada to become. Wake the hell up. We need deportations in this country is what we need. We need the people who are cheering for violent revolution the fuck out of here. Why the hell would we be allowing these people to stay in Canada? How do they benefit our society? How does it benefit us to allow people in that despise the set of values that we as Canadians stand for, that our ancestors fought for? World War I, World War II, Vimy Ridge. The Canadian soldiers were always known as being the most courageous, brave soldiers. You think that they were fighting for Muslim values, as Mark Carney would say? You think that that's what they were doing? Because they were fighting for our freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of movement. And as I said, you want to go visit one of those 56 Muslim majority countries, I can guarantee you're going to see none of those values there, which is exactly why these mobs on our street are so violent. The violence is shocking. I know CBC, CTV, state propaganda won't give you an accurate reading of what they actually look like. I have seen these up close time and time again. These are the definition of hate mobs. These are hateful people covering their eyes, violent extremists wearing the logos of Hamas in many cases, wearing the logos of many terrorist organizations throughout the Middle East. There's a reason that the 10 most well-known terrorist organizations are all Muslim terror organizations. It's not as Islamophobic to point that out. It's pro-Canada. It's standing up for Canada and our future. And if we do not stop this invasion of our country, Canada, you think about how much it's transformed in the past 10 years. My God, can you imagine what this country is going to look like in another 10? It's going to be gone for good. Please like, share, subscribe, join, become a member. Thank you so much to everybody who supported. Grab some gear, donate. I really appreciate it so much. We need to stop the invasion of Canada.